Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhiraye Nastapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Rabhavati Naistaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. This morning we'll be speaking from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 74, verses 25 to 30. I believe 30 is written on the board. Huh? Yeah, 25 is written on the board or 30? 30th, verse number 30 has a purport. So I'll be speaking on verse number 30. Please change it. So we will also read in English the verses leading up to verse number 30. So verse number 25. Shukadeva Goswami continued, having said this, Sahadev, who understood Lord Krishna's powers, fell silent. And having heard his words, all the saintly persons present congratulated him, exclaiming, "Excellent, excellent." Please repeat after me. Shukadeva Goswami continued, having said this, Sahadev, who understood Lord Krishna's powers, fell silent. And having heard his words, all the saintly persons present congratulated him, exclaiming, "Excellent, excellent." Text number 26. The king was delighted to hear this pronouncement of the Brahmanas, from which he understood the mood of the entire assembly. Overwhelmed with love, he fully worshipped Lord Krishna, the master of the senses. That is referring to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now, text number 27 and 28. After bathing Lord Krishna's feet, Yudhishthira Maharaj joyfully sprinkled the water upon his own head and then upon the heads of his wife, brothers, other family members, and ministers. That water purifies the whole world. As he honored the Lord with presentations of yellow silken garments and precious jeweled ornaments, the king's tear-filled eyes prevented him from looking directly at the Lord. His eyes had tears, so he could not look at the Lord. when they saw Lord Krishna thus honored, nearly all who were present joined their palms reverentially, exclaiming, "Obeisances to you, all victory to you," and then bowed down to him. Flowers rained from above. As Krishna was being worshipped, flowers, the demigods, rained flowers upon him. Now, verse number 30. It's written on the board? Yeah. Itham nishamya damagosasuta swapita Itham nishamya damagosasuta swapita Uthaya Krishna guna varchana jata maneha Uthaya Krishna guna varchana jata maneha Utsikpya taksham Tavan aha lakshamara Uthaprisa bahum idam aha sadasya atmasha Yeah, give me this. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Let's start again. Itham nishamya damagosha sutta sapithad Uthaya Krishna guna varnan jatamanyuha Utchipya bahum idam ahasadasi amrisha smaram Bhagavate parushane abhita Try. Can try. Mataji's. word meanings. Itham, thus, Nishamya, hearing, Dhammaghosha Sutaha, the son of Dhammaghosha, Shishupal, Swa, his, Pitat, from the seat, Uthaya, rising, Krishna Guna, of the great qualities of Lord Krishna, Varnan, by the descriptions, Jata, aroused, Manu, thank you, whose anger, Utkshipya, waving, Bahum, his arms, Idam, this, Aha, he said, Sadasi, in the midst of the assembly, Amarshi, intolerant, Samsaravayam, addressing, Bhavatat, at the Supreme Lord, Parushani, harsh words, Abhita, having no fear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The intolerant son of Dhamma-Ghosh became infuriated upon hearing the glorification of Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities. He stood up from his seat and angrily waving his arms, fearlessly spoke to the entire assembling the following harsh words against the Supreme Lord. Please repeat after me. The intolerant son of Dhamma-Ghosh became infuriated upon hearing the glorification of Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities. He stood up from his seat and angrily waving his arms, fearlessly spoke to the entire assembly the following harsh words against the Supreme Lord. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, in that meeting, King Shishupal was also present. He was an avowed enemy of Krishna for many reasons, especially because of Krishna's having stolen Rukmini from the marriage ceremony. Therefore, he could not tolerate such honor to Krishna and glorification of his qualities. Instead of being happy to hear the glories of the Lord, he became very angry. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions that the reason Shishupal did not object when Sahadev proposed Krishna for the Agra Puja is that Shishupal wanted to ruin King Yudhishthir's sacrifice. If Shishupal had argued earlier against Lord Krishna's receiving the first worship and another person had been selected, the sacrifice would have then proceeded normally. Therefore, Shishupal allowed Krishna to be selected, waited until the worship was over, and then spoke up, hoping in this way to demonstrate that the sacrifice was now spoiled. Thus, he would ruin the endeavor of Maharaj Yudhishthir. In this regard, the Acharya quotes the following Smriti reference. Apujaya yatra pujayante pujayanam cha vyatikramaha. In the place where those who are not to be worshipped are worshipped, there is offense to those who are actually worshipable. There is also the following statement, Prati vadhanati hi shreya pujya pujya vyatikrama. Improperly understanding who is to be worshipped and who is not to be worshipped will impede one's progress in life. Mukam karoti vachanam panghulangayate girim yat kripatam ham vande Shri Guru Dinartaranam Paramanand Madhavam. So this chapter is entitled The Deliverance of Shishupal at the Rajasuya sacrifice arranged by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So after arranging the killing of Jarasandha by Bhima, Lord Krishna and Bhima, Sahadev and other Pandavas, they came to Indraprastha to attend the Rajasuya Yagya of Yudhishthir Maharaj in Indraprastha, which was a very opulent city developed by Maya Dhanava. This was gifted by Maya Dhanava. And Duryodhan was always envious of this gift. So this yagya has many interesting aspects. Many incidents took place during the course of this yagya. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that there were many devotees and also Kauravas who participated in this Rajasuya sacrifice. And specifically it is mentioned that the arrangements were taken care of by some of the Pandavas, like Sahadev. He was taking care of all the guests. And Nakula, he was given the responsibility of acquiring various ingredients for the yagya as well as for all the participants in the yagya. And Duryodhan actually who is actually incarnation of Kali Yuga, his personification of Kali Yuga. He was given the responsibility of handling the treasury. And Karna, he was of a charitable disposition. He was given the responsibility of giving charity to all the various peoples present there. And Arjuna was given the responsibility of taking care of the elderly members in the Sabha. And similarly, Draupadi was given the responsibility of serving prasadam, and Bhima was the cook, the main cook. He was given that responsibility. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned the most interesting thing or surprising thing is that Lord Krishna, who is the well-wisher of everyone, whose feet are always worshipped by Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi always aspires to be at his feet. he accepted the service of washing all the guests' feet and also to collect all the used plates of the prasadam, plates on which the guests had taken prasadam, leaf plates. He took and disposed them all. Such a humble service, although he is the Lord of the universe, most worshipable amongst everyone. And yet he took a very humble position. And these two services took washing the feet of all the exalted persons who were there, and also taking disposing of the leaf plates. So this is the nature of the Supreme Lord. Always he is very respectful and not proud. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he demonstrated in the near the Varanasi, the Mayavadis. He went to a place where it was not considered to be very pure, and he sat there instead of joining the other sannyasis. This is the nature of the Lord, and also his expansions, like in the case of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of Mahavishnu. As such, he is worshipable. At the same time, Advaita Acharya did not feel comfortable when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to offer him obeisance, because Advaita Acharya was of the age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, Jagannath Mishra. So naturally, it is etiquette. Shishigo Nitai ki jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple Devi ki jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. It is the etiquette, it was a proper etiquette that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Advaita Acharya was much older than him, to offer him obeisances and treat him as an elderly person. But he was not feeling comfortable with this. He was thinking that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the original Krishna. He's directly Krishna. I am just a servant of him, expansion of him. So he did not feel comfortable with this. So he devised a plan that he would be accepted as a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rather than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always giving him so much respect. So the plan was that Advaita Acharya would purposely preach impersonalism from the Yoga Vasishta Ramayana, where the Jnana aspect is stressed more over the Bhakti aspect. So some of the devotees reported this to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In your presence, Advaita Acharya always praises Bhakti. But when you are not there, he says that Jnana is actually superior. Bhakti has its own place, okay, but Jnana is superior. That's what Advaita Acharya was saying. This was his plan. So Mahaprabhu could not believe this. He was thinking, I came to this world to give bhakti to everyone. Because he shouted, cried so loudly, that's why his name is Hum Hum Kara. Advaita Acharya cried so loudly, Mahaprabhu, you have to come. Krishna, you have to come. You have to teach bhakti. The whole world is going to hell. They are not bothered about bhakti. Please come and teach bhakti. But Mahaprabhu was thinking, I was sleeping very comfortably in Golok, and he shouted so loudly, I was woken up, and I came to teach bhakti, and he's saying that superior to bhakti is Gyan. So Mahaprabhu rushed to where Advaita Acharya was in Shantipur. And when he reached Advaita Acharya's bhavan, he waited outside to hear what actually he was speaking. And he was saying the same thing. It's okay, bhakti is all right, but Gyan is superior. Purposely he was saying this. So Mahaprabhu, when he heard this, he entered the Advaita Acharya's bhavan. And he was in the Vyasasan at that time, Advaita Acharya, lecturing from a Vyasasan. Mahaprabhu came and pushed him and threw him down. And Advaita Acharya fainted, actually. Advaita Acharya, when he came to consciousness, he said, now my purpose is served. Why it is served? Because you will not have the courage or the feelings to push someone who is superior to you. So you have accepted me as your servant. I am very grateful to you. By this act, you have accepted that I am your servant. So similarly, in case of Srimati Radharani, she is the topmost devotee of the Lord. Amongst all devotees, Radharani is the best. Yet, she never feels that she is very great. Rather, when any devotee comes to take shelter of her, she thinks that this devotee is so nice. He is even greater than me. So he recommends immediately to Krishna, take him or her. He is better than I am. This is the mood of Radharani. So that's why Radharani says that in the 10th canto, there is an episode when Krishna left the Rasalila dance and all the gopis were searching, Radharani was searching. They were very distressed, very depressed. So Radharani, instead of thinking that she is very great and then Krishna should come, rather than that, she is taking the position of a very humble servant. She is saying that, Ha Krishna, Raman Preshta, Ha Krishna, Raman Preshta, the best of lovers, Quasi, Mahabhavo, O mighty armed one, where are you? Quasi, where are you? Where are you? Dasi te kripana me. That's the point. Dasi, I am your servant. She's not saying that I am very great, but accepting herself as Dasi te kripana me. I am very kripana, miserable. Please come, accept me as your Dasi. Never feel that we are very great, as Krishna is showing by his own examples. Sakhe drishya sannidham. Please give me your association. Be visible to me. This is the nature of the devotees of the Lord and even the Lord himself. Chanting 24 hours a day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yet he's saying, I have no love for you. He says, Naam akari bahudani ja sarva shakti tatra arpita niyamita smaranena kahla. Etadishitav kripa gunmapi dur daivam idrisham iha jani na anuraga. 24/7 he's chanting, and yet he's saying, I have no anurag, I have no love for you. Always we should remain very humble. So, the purport of this verse is that we should worship the Lord properly and the right person. We should be very happy when the Lord is being worshipped. And at the same time, we should also be very careful that we do not worship unworshipable persons. Srila Prabhupada, quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, has quoted this verse here that apujya yatra pashyate Pasyanam cha Vyakramaha. If you worship someone who is not worshipable, this is transgressing the method of worship, and it will create impediments for the worshipper. In Kali Yuga especially, many concocted persons are being worshipped, or they claim to be God. Bhagavad-gita describes that. The mode of goodness, they worship demigods. The modes of passion, they worship some great personality. In the mode of ignorance, they worship ghosts and demons. So like in the mode of passion, people worship some important person, some powerful person. Prabhupada gave the example that during the Second World War, one person here, he actually worshipped Hitler. He was thinking, his logic was that because of this, Hitler has reigned the Second World War, that means a lot of soldiers have to be there. So a lot of soldiers have to be there, they have to naturally have uniforms. So he was actually in the business of providing uniforms, clothes and all that. So he actually started worshipping Hitler. Because of him, my business has expanded so much. So another example, recently actually, how foolish people can get in Kali Yuga is that in state of UP, one person, he actually built a temple, and when he was going to install the deity, he had a very strange concept who the deity would be. You will laugh at this. He was going to install a deity of Corona Mata, of all. Corona Mata. So we don't even know whether Corona is a Mata or a Pita, but he actually prepared for that with all paraphernalia, agarbatti, jyot, chamara, everything. But luckily, he was found in time. And so the police authorities, they arrested him and the temple was confiscated and all that. How foolish you can come. So the point is being made by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that if you worship some unauthorized person, that is a great transgression in the worship. And the same thing is mentioned in a little different way by Chanaka Pandit. Chanaka Pandit says the same thing, that Murak Yatarana Pujante. Murak Yatarana Pujante. Where the Murak or fools are not worshipped. Dhanam Yatra Nischinna Suchintata. Suchintya. I will explain you what this means. Dampataya Yatra Kolaha Naasti Tatra Shri Swayam Agataha. So he mentions three things here in this. First he says, Murak Yatanana Pujante, where a fool is not worshipped. In a place where a fool is not worshipped, Murak Yatarana Pujante. Then he also says, Dhanam Yatra Suchintita, where Dhana means grains, is Suchintita, are stored properly in a way. And Dampatya Yatra Kolhanasti, where the husband and wife do not fight. There Shri Swayam Agataha, Lakshmi, personally, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, personally stays there at a place where grains are stored properly, and Murakshatarana Pujanti, where fools are not being worshipped, and husband and wife never fight with each other. There, the goddess of fortune personally stays. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his nature of disposition to devotees when they would come from Puri. He would personally take care of them, see to their comforts, provide them with chandan, garlands, fresh Mahaprasadam from Jagannath. In all respects, he would take great care of them. One time, there was a satsang going on. This is prior to his going to Puri. Many exalted devotees were there in the satsang, and many important points were under discussion. So all of a sudden, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this was in Sachirani's house, his own house, Sachimata's house. All of a sudden, Nimai stood up and he said, "Now I am going home." So all the devotees were very surprised. Mahaprabhu, what is he saying? He is in his home. He is in his home. But he's saying, "I'm going home." So devotees could not understand. So they consulted amongst each other, and then they thought, okay, we'll ask Murari Gupta. So we know who is Murari Gupta? Anyone can tell? Hanuman, incarnation of Hanuman. And he's very close to Sri Ramchandra. So they said, we should ask Murari Gupta, because he will know the answer to this. He's very close to Ramchandra. So they asked Murari Gupta, what does he mean that he's going home when he is already in his home? So Murari Gupta replied, he's going to his home means that actually his home is the devotee's heart. Sadhu hridayam mahyam, elsewhere he says. The actual residence of the Lord is the devotee's heart. Sadhu hridayam mahyam. Sadhu nam hridayastaham mat anyat na janati na tebhyo managapi. In the episode of Durvasa Muni, Lord Krishna says to Durvasa Muni, you have offended my devotee. I am in the heart of my devotees, and devotees are in my heart. I know nothing except my devotees, and devotees also know nothing except me. So if you want your own benefit, go and beg forgiveness from him. Sadhu hridayam mahyam. I am situated in the heart of my devotees. So how does the Lord manifest himself? By what of our activities will the Lord manifest in our hearts? The answer is given by Parikshit Maharaj in the second canto. He says very nicely, this is the word, Shinvatam shadaya nityam grihnas chesitam na iti chire na kalena bhagwan vasati hridaya. Anyone who regularly, nityam, regularly, and with great attention hears Srimad Bhagavatam, na ati chirena, not without delay, without delay, Bhagwan vasati hridaya. The Lord will manifest himself in the heart of the devotee who regularly and attentively hears the Srimad Bhagavatam. Once I was giving a class, I quoted this same verse, that by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord becomes manifest in the heart of the devotee, as the Parikshit Maharaj has said. So one devotee asked a question after the class, that but the Lord is already there in the heart. It's true also. The Lord is already there in the heart. Otherwise you would not be living. He's already living in the heart of all species of life. Everyone, even the fish, dogs, cats, trees, everyone, demigods, is already there. So his question was, but the Lord is already there. Yeah, the Lord is there. Otherwise we would not be living. It is the presence of the soul that makes us living. But the Lord is not manifesting His full potency. He is manifesting His full potency in the heart of the devotee. Neither is He happy to be in the heart of anyone on others. He is happy only in the heart of the devotees, where He is manifesting His full potency. We know that this Shishupal, which is the subject matter of the verses that we are reading today, that actually right from the time that he was born, in fact, the very first words that he spoke was abuse against Krishna. The very first word. And all his life he was doing just that, just abusing Krishna all the time. And later on, when Krishna kidnapped Rukmini at the Swayamvar ceremony arranged by her father, he was envious like anything, because he was trying to win Rukmini for himself. So he tried his best. But Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, just like a lion takes his bounty without caring for anything else. So amongst the mid of so many kings, so many powerful Kshatriyas, Krishna just stole her and took her with him. So from that time onwards, his envy even increased further, even though he was envious right from the beginning, but his envy increased more and more when Krishna kidnapped Rukmini. And so now to study who was actually Shishupal. So we understand that actually the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, namely Jai and Vijay, they were cursed by Chatushana, the four Kumaras, to come in 3 births. So when they actually tried to enter Vaikuntha, because they had accepted the form of Bala Brahmacharis, child Brahmacharis. Although they are the oldest persons in the world, in creation, they want some of the oldest persons. So they tried to enter Vaikuntha to have darshan of the Lord, but these Chatursana, 4 Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sunandan and Sanat Kumar, they stopped them. No, you are just in baby forms, very young forms. You are not eligible to enter Vaikuntha. So the 4 Kumaras were very upset at this. This is the mentality of materialistic persons, to make such distinctions. We have come to take darshan of our Lord, and you are stopping us. You are not suitable to be the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. We curse you that you will be born, you'll take birth in the material creation. So in the meantime, Lord Vishnu, he heard all this commotion that was going on. And he came to the same place. He apologized to the Chatu Kumaras. I'm very sorry that my attendants, they stopped you. The Lord himself took responsibility. When something wrong goes, the person whose servants commit this offense, they apologize. He was apologizing, I'm sorry, my servants committed. But actually, the plan was that the Jai and Vijay, being very intimate servants of the Lord, could actually understand that the Lord wanted to, because the Lord also has a fighting spirit. Anything that we have in this world is a reflection, is originally present in the Lord himself. The Lord also has this tendency. But who's there to fight with him? Everyone is a devotee there. So these Jai and Vijay took it upon themselves to give the Lord this, to fulfill his desire to fight. Therefore they accepted it. So they came to, the Lord came to Jai and Vijay, and the Chatusana, 4 commands, in the meantime they realized, we have done a very terrible thing by cursing the Lord's devotees, Jai and Vijay, in a fit of anger. But there is nothing we can do about it. Once the curse has come out from our mouth, it cannot be reversed. But we can modify it. So they gave Jai and Vijay an option. Okay, you have to go to the material world because we have cursed you. Curse cannot be taken back. But the modification is there. We give you a choice. Either you take 3 births as demons, or you take 7 births as devotees. That much we can do. So immediately Jai and Vijay said, we'd rather have 3 births as demons. Their purpose in this was twofold. First was that they wanted to satisfy the Lord in a fight. The Lord has this nature also to fight. He wanted to fight. And the other reason was that if they came only for 3 births, they would return very soon back to Vaikuntha. But if they took 7 births as devotees, it would take them a very, very long time. So they chose, okay, 3 births finished, we go back to Vaikuntha. So they accepted that. So as a result of this curse, the Jai and Vijay, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, they came to this material world. And let's go through these 3 births. Who remembers the first one? Can you say? Yes, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. The second one? Yes, Raman and his brother Kumbhakaran. And the third one? Shishupal and Dantavakra. That's what we're reading now. Shishupal and Dantavakra. Right from the time that he could speak, the first word he spoke was abuse against Krishna. And all his life he kept on. Later on we'll see that although so many people in the assembly, they wanted to kill this rascal. They stood up with their arms, swords ready. But Krishna stopped them. No. He himself did the job by calling his Sudarshan Chakra, razor sharp chakra, and cut Shishupal's head. And you see, everyone who was there, they could see that the spirit of Shishupal actually entered the effulgence of Lord Krishna there. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that these 3, Jai and Vijay, after taking the birth as Shishupal and Dantavakra, took yet one more birth. Anyone can say? Jagai and Madhai. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned. They took birth as Jagai and Madhai. And after that, they went back to Godhead. So, in a few days' time, we'll be celebrating Radha Ashtami, most dear devotee of Lord Krishna, as well as his Haladini Shakti. That was the day, Radha Ashtami, when Shukadev Goswami started the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam and continued up to Purnima, which is called the Bhadra Purnima. And as mentioned in the Bhagavatam, this is the benediction given by Suta Goswami. Anyone who gives in a donation the Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima will go directly to Goloka. Of course, one can distribute this Bhagavatam or give in donation any time of the day. There are no restrictions at all. But the Bhadra Purnima is especially recommended, as there is a Shruti Fal also. And also there is a Shruti Fal of hearing this very Srimad, the pastime of Shishupal being killed by Krishna. Shukadeva Goswami says, anyone who hears this pastime of Shishupal being killed by Krishna at the Rajasuya Yagya, he will be relieved of all sins. So, Prabhupada gave a lot of attention to the not only printing of Srimad Bhagavatam, but also encourage all his devotees, they should study the books very thoroughly. In fact, one time in America, one reporter was saying, he asked Prabhupada, we see that your movement is going on very nicely now, but what will happen when you die? This was a question asked by a reporter. And Prabhupada gave a wonderful answer. Prabhupada answered, I will never die. I will always live in my books. I will always look in. This is a recorded conversation by Srila Prabhupada. I will never die. I will always live in my books. And they will utilize. And another incident that happened right here in the Mumbai, Prabhupada's place, office. Prabhupada used to call, Mumbai is my office. So some life members had come. Prabhupada was preaching to them. And this story is narrated by one of my god brothers, Bhagavat Das. In various places you will find this incident recorded. So Prabhupada was preaching to these life members. And when these life members left, Bhagavat Prabhu was in the room only. Prabhupada asked Bhagavat, did you understand what I said? Do you know these verses that I quoted? Bhagavat said, I'm very sorry, Prabhupada. I'm not familiar with the verses you quoted. So Prabhupada said, and actually these books are meant for you to read. I'm working day and night. Prabhupada used to sleep only 2 or 3 hours every night. Whole day he would be preaching and night translating. It's meant for you, Prabhupada said. And then Prabhupada said, I myself read my own books. I read my own books daily. Then Prabhupada was silent for a while. And then he said, every time I read these books, I find something new in them. After that, he revealed the greatest secret. These books are not written by me. Every morning Krishna comes, he dictates, and I have simply given the written form. It's a directly statement by Srila Prabhupada. I have given them a written form. So, every one of you, every one of us, we should take this opportunity, distribute as many sets of Srimad Bhagavatam as possible. And hear Srimad Bhagavatam also. Because hearing Srimad Bhagavatam means that the Lord will manifest in our hearts. Nati chiri kalena Bhagwan vasati hridaya. So, I'd like to stop here. If there are any other questions or comments.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. When we see Lord Nrsingadev fought, there is a ferocious battle between Lord Nrsingadev and Hiranyakashipu, and then there is a ferocious battle between Lord Ramchandra and Ravanasur. But we see there is not so much fight between Lord Krishna and Shishupal. Shishupal was not so much given importance in.
Yeah, his question was, can someone get me some water? The Prabhuji's question was that we see a very blatant, obvious fight with Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh. In the case of Hiranyaksh, he took the form of a boar, and in the form of Nrsingadev, he took this form. There was actually fight. Hiranyakashipu used his sword, and similarly, Hiranyaksh also tried his best to fight. Similarly, with Ravan and Kumbhakarna, there was actual war there. But here, in the case of Shishupal and Dantavakra, there was not such gross fighting, but it was like Shishupal was always using abuses against Krishna. Right from the time, the first words he spoke was abuse against Krishna. All the life he was just abusing Krishna. It's a little different type of fire, anger or hatred. Hatred can come or take many forms. This was the hatred. But Krishna had promised his aunt, Krishna's aunt, that he would tolerate 100 offenses against him by Shishupal. So he didn't kill him earlier to that. He killed him when the 100th offense was over. Okay, now is the time, and then he killed him. And the same thing with Dantavakra. He was always showing his teeth. That's how he got this name, Dantavakra. He has horrible teeth. Krishna just took his club and broke all his teeth. It's a little different in their style of warmongering, but the principle was the same. They were all trying to show or exhibit their hatred against Krishna. And the same thing with Jagai and Madhai. It's very nice. story, if I may just continue for a couple of minutes. As they came, that was the next avatar of Jai and Vijay. So when the devotees headed by Haridas Thakur, on the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu gave them this instruction, Suno Suno Nityananda, Suno Haridas, Sarvatra Amar Agya Karha Prata, Gara Gara Giya Karo E Bhiksha, Bhajo Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Karo Krishna Siksha. So Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu went, but this Jagai and Madai, intoxicated they were. Madai took one broken earth pot and threw at the lotus head of Nityananda Prabhu, and blood started coming. And other devotees went and told Mahaprabhu, we told Nityananda Prabhu not to go there, but he said, I have been instructed to go every house and deliver. So now, as a result of their going, they have attacked. So Mahaprabhu came running with his Sudarshan Chakra. He was about to kill this Jagai and Madai, but Nityananda fell his feet. No, Prabhu, in this avatar, you are not going to kill anyone. You are going to kill only the evil mentality. Because everyone in Kali Yuga is fallen, is patit, sinful. Please accept them. So Mahaprabhu accepted them and gave them love of Godhead, by which they chanted 2 lakhs names per day. And continue the story. This was very amazing to Yamaraj. What happened was, Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan was so joyful for everyone. Everyone is so attracted to this. Demigods used to come in their Pushpa Viman, flower planes, to see Mahaprabhu's ecstatic dancing and other devotees dancing. So one day, after taking darshan of the Sankirtan pastimes, they were returning to their respective planets. They had their vision fell on Yamaraj's Viman. This is narrated in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, very nice story. So the demigods thought, we are very fortunate. Today we'll also meet Yamaraj, because he's one of the 12 Mahajans, a very nice devotee. Anyone who wears his Kantimala, or wears Vaishnav Tilak, or chants Hare Krishna, Yamaduts will never come to him. He's a very pure devotee. So they went to see Yamaraj, but when they approached Yamaraj's flower pane, Pushpa Viman, they saw Yamaraj was lying faint. He had fainted. He was unconscious. So they asked his pilot, what happened? Why is he unconscious? So the pilot replied that Yamaraj, he is in charge of punishing all sinful people. He has a record of every single entity's past activities and present activities. So when he asked for the record from his secretary is named Chitragupta, bring the record of this sinful Jagai and Madai. So Chitragupta reported, Prabhu, I'm sorry, these people have been so sinful, I got tired of writing, I gave up writing. Even for the offenses, the papas, sins they have committed, they will go many lifetimes, crores of lifetimes in hell. So I stopped writing. Oh, Yamaraj was saying, it looks like we have to create a separate hell for them. They look to be extremely sinful persons. So Yamaraj was contemplating, I must create a separate. But then Yamaraj saw this dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the midst of it, Mahaprabhu, he forgave these sinful persons, Jagai and Madai, and gave them love of Godhead by which they chanted 2 lakh names every day, and tears of love flowed from their eyes continuously. So Yamaraj was thinking, these Jagai and Madai, they need to go to a special help. I was contemplating how to make this help. And now Mahaprabhu has given them his shelter, not only given them love of God by which they are crying day and night in love of God. He was thinking, how much more merciful can anyone get? How merciful my Lord is. He could not bear to think about the mercy, and he fainted and laying unconscious in his plane. Now this became a problem for the other demigods. So the other demigods, they're thinking, now Yamaraj is unconscious. He has a very important service. He has to punish sinful people, especially in Kali Yuga. He has to work overtime because so many sinful people are there. So what to do? So they consulted. They had an Istagosti, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya. They all consulted. What should we do to bring him back to consciousness? So they concluded, there is only one solution, one and only one solution to all problems. Chant Hare Krishna. And so they chanted Hare Krishna in their Pushpa Vimana, dancing in ecstasy and chanting. And this sound went through the ear holes of Yamaraj, who was unconscious, and right through to his heart. And he started waking up. And he could be, oh, this is Kirtan going on. So gradually he got up and he saw 4-headed Brahmaji chanting, 5-headed Shiva chanting, Indra, Chandra, Surya, all demigods chanting in their place. So Yamaraj could not resist. So he himself also started chanting in his flower pain. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Time is almost up. Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll try to answer that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful lecture. Prabhu, we heard from Prabhupada's books that like devotees who are in Shantaras, Dasaras, Madhuraras, Vachalaras, there is not much difference. Like, they like it means like they want to remain in that rasas only. So my question is that, like, although Jaya Vijay they were in Dasyaras, they went back to Vaikuntha doing the eternal services which were given to them. Why, Prabhu, they have come to again this material world, taking the form of Jagai Madai and taking so much risk, whether like
that was a special mercy of the Lord to give them love of God. Only in the form of Jagai and Madai did they get love. Previous lives, they were demons and all that, they were killed and all that. But actually in the last life, as Jagai and Madai, they actually got Krishna love, Krishna Prem. So that was actually a special mercy of the Lord. And that mercy also obtained by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai Harinam Udharilyo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai. That was the special mercy of Nityananda Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, same question related to that, what that devotee asked about Jagai and Madhai. So this is a special mercy. Jagai Madhai come back again. Jay and Vijay come back again, and they perform this pastime, and afterwards they get Krishna Prem, as you mentioned. So Prabhuji, before that, they committed so many sinful activities. They harassed, and they gave trouble, so much trouble. They even killed also.
Yeah.
So what about that, karma? I
That is
just,
they said that although they were born in Brahmana family, but the influence of Kali Yuga is so much that even those people who are born in Kali Yuga are affected by sinful activities. They were the most sinful, Jagai and Madhai. There's no sin that they did not do again and again. They would throw innocent children into the Ganga. They would drink like anything. They would kill cows. They would rape women. No one wanted to even go in their shadow. If someone went into their shadow, they would immediately go to the to the Gangaji to purify themselves. So they had become very sinful. This is due to the association of Kali Yuga, but also behind that also is a greater will of the Lord. This is part of his pastimes, and by this pastime he has told Harinam Udharilo, Tara Sakshi, Jagai and Madhai, the greatest of all sinful Papi Tapi Jata Chilo, Harinam Udharilo, Tara Sakshi, Jagai. Krishna wanted to exhibit that. He wanted to show for everyone. Papi Tapi Jata Chilo, Harinam Udharilo, Tara Sakshi, Jagai Madhai. As the Narottam Das Thakurji has said that. Papi Tapi Jata Chilo, the greatest of all sinners, can be relieved. This is the evidence. It's Tara Sakshi, this witness to this is Tara Sakshi, Jagai Madhai. So Krishna wanted to also include that. It's part of his plan too.
thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we'll have to end there because our meetings are starting shortly. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna. Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.